make sure that if you're under a treatment plan, that you follow it. And the concepts we talk about, if they're in any way contradictory to what your physician is saying, consult your doctor. Hey, is this okay? I've heard that this is a good option. These are great supplements. What do you think? What the information I'm sharing is not designed for treatment. It's purely informational and for educational purposes. We're not here to diagnose or treat any of you. Okay, I just want to make that clear. But we're going to talk a little bit about prostate health. Our mission is increase your awareness. It's something that we all need to know about because it affects, like I said, African American men at a much higher rate than other males. 1 in 8 males will probably develop some type of prostate cancer, and 1 in 6 African Americans. And then we're twice as likely to develop more serious complications as a result of prostate cancer as well. So screening is a huge preventive measure. Prostate cancer usually does not, it's really rare below the age of 40. The average age of a person being diagnosed is 65, 67. So in the later years is when we really need this to facilitate screening. Digital exams, cystoscopies, blood work, checking your PSA, all those things are really important. And then on a regular basis, because just imagine this disease attacks men around in their 60s. So that's most of us here, except for Andrew. He's still like 40 years old or something like that. But we all need to be very, very cognizant. And you know, the idea too, if you have, from a hereditary perspective, it's interesting that you would think familially that if I have a father that had prostate cancer, then I would get it. You know, the highest risk is if you have a brother that has prostate cancer, not a father. So your risk goes up way up if you have a brother that has prostate issues. So screening is really important. Promoting prevention. You know, it's interesting. All the principles we talk about in these lectures apply to all the diseases we're going to talk about. So when we talk about ideas, prevention ideas, we're going to talk about the same thing. Can you guys name some? Exercise. What kind? Paleo? Plant-based, right? What else? Original, well, yeah. Vegetables aren't in the original diet. So what else? Exercise and diet. That's all you guys can think of? Water. Sunshine. And I'm a big believer in supplements. So, you know, we talk about vitamin D supplements. You know, here we don't have a lot of sun sometimes in wintertime. You get seasonal affective disorder because of lack of vitamin D in our system. And African American men and women typically have a lower level of vitamin D. So I would tell all of you to supplement vitamin D. I take 20,000 IUs a day. 20,000. If you go to Amazon, there's a D3 pill that's $9 for their 10,000 IUs a piece. And you get like 30 of them. That's a really good deal. Because there was a researcher, I looked at his research. He says cancer cells cannot survive in the presence of vitamin D. They cannot. So I take 20,000 IU, and it's not like you get toxicity. You can't get toxicity for over. Yes. So I would suggest you guys, I take 20,000. I would suggest you take at least 10, even though I gave you a disclaimer. Don't go around to Columbus stores and take 10,000 IUs of vitamin D. It's going to help you with the prostate issues. It's going to help you with all kinds of sickness. It's going to boost your immunity, because that's what it's all about. It's having a great immune system. Yes, sir. You need a microphone. Here, let me come to you.
So you're saying that if you have a depletion of vitamin D, you're going to be basically susceptible to a lot of illness and diseases, right?
No. No. I'm telling you, I'm giving you ideas to help combat some of these things that are coming your way. And vitamin D is one of many. So it helps boost your immune system, and you have a strong immune system. What happens? When disease comes after you, right? It fights it. So yeah. Well, typically they come in all doses, Steve, 500, 1,000, 2,000. You know, like I said, I found this one on Amazon that was 10,000. The question was, what's the typical pill amount of D in a typical pill? And I said they come in pretty much lots of different doses. But like I said, me personally, I take 20,000 a day because I did a little reading on it, and that's just me. You guys don't have to do that, but do your own reading and find out. I think the recommended daily allowance maybe as low as like 1,000. Yes, sister, about 1,000. Okay, sister back there confirmed that the thought was the recommended daily allowance of D is about 1,000 IU. So I'm taking about 20 times the recommended daily dose. But again, there's really hardly any toxicity at all with D consumption. But one of those prevention ideas, promote prevention, faith-based, spiritual element in your life, exercise, water, sunlight, plant-based diet. All those things are really important for everything we're going to be talking about throughout the year. Break the silence. Support families in discussing men's health openly. Prostate BPH and prostate cancer is not fun for men to talk about because of where it is and what it does and the results that occur as a result of having BPH or prostate cancer. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But it's something we need to talk about. Our bodies are fearfully and wonderfully made. So there's nothing shameful about our body. Because what the angels say to Adam, or who told you that you were naked? You know? So there's nothing shameful about our bodies. We need to embrace our existence and what God created. He didn't create junk, right? We tell the kids, God didn't create no junk. Beautiful bodies, amazingly made. So understanding the prostate, what it is, it's a small gland in the male reproductive system about the size of a walnut, unless you have pH. There's a little photo there. The next picture will show it a little bit better. If you can see, there's a partial picture there. On the top of the photo is the bladder. You have the urethra coming out. That gland around that line, urethra coming out, is the prostate. And then you have the urethra with the penis, and it goes out and so forth. And that is where the prostate is. So when it becomes inflamed, it can squeeze on the urethra. It can push on the bladder. And we're going to talk about some of those symptoms in a little bit. But it's important to know where it is. It's important to know where it is. It produces seminal fluid that nourishes and transports sperm, so that's very important for reproduction. Located below the bladder again, surrounding the urethra. This position is why the prostate issues often affect urinary patterns. So typically when you have BPH, you can have frequency because your bladder doesn't empty completely, difficulty with urination, painful urination. If you get prostatitis, you can have blood in the urine. I mean, lots of urinary issues. So when you go to the doctor, they do urodynamics. They ask you to urinate in a machine to see what your flow is. Your flow is strong. It doesn't stop and start. That's good. Some men will go to the bathroom and they start and stop. Start and stop. Start and stop. And that's not good. Or they get up at night. Frequent urination, get them 3-4 times a night. That's not good because your bladder's not emptying. You know, for a lot of different reasons. It doesn't have to be prostate. You can have like increased musculature in your bladder, not allowing it to relax so it can fill and doesn't empty all the way there. So there's other issues. So don't take one symptom as an indication that you have prostate issues. Why it matters? It affects urination. Urination is something that we need to do, and it can kind of mess up your life, you know, your pace of things. So it's something that reproductive health as well, and overall quality of life. And Psalms 139:14 reminds us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So all these things need to function well. And if they don't, it can impact your life, right? Common conditions, BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia, a non-cancerous enlargement that affects urinary function. Common in older men. Like we said, BPH typically hits us when we're older and continues to progress. And prostatitis, inflammation that can cause pain and discomfort. That's where your prostate is infected and inflamed. Painful urination comes with that. And then prostate cancer. Ultimately, if we don't get checked, BPH can develop nodules. Those nodules can become cancerous, and that cancer can spread. People don't die of prostate cancer. They die of the metastases that are a result of prostate cancer. So we need to just be very careful because you don't want to not get checked because it's one of those things. Next thing you know, you're going to the doctor, And he says, I have bad news. You know, you get cancer in your spine and your bladder and your bones and everywhere else. Where'd it come from? That little organ. Really important for us to be checked on a regular basis. Warning signs, frequent urination, especially at night, called nocturia. Urinary issues, weak stream, like we said, weak, that's why they do the urodynamics to see what the stream is like. If your stream is weak or you're straining or it's painful, you have to push it out, you probably have a swollen prostate. Blood presence in your urine, that's always something you need to be very aware of because those are the latter stages of prostate issues. And then discomfort. Believe it or not, prostate cancer, I've had patients that have had back pain come for treatment, and it's not coming from your back. It's referred pain. So if you have prostate issues, prostate cancer developing, then you can have low back pain, hip pain, or pelvic pain. That's when we get in our hip, because I have both my hips replaced, and they wanted to make sure that there was nothing else there. So they check other issues because pain can be referred from other organs. So in the exams for men, typically when you reach the age of 50 or so, they want you to start getting regular exams. The digital exam is once. You go to the doctor and they go up your rectum and they feel your prostate. It feels smooth, no problem. I actually had a model of prostate that was inflamed, regular prostate, and going to different stages of BPH. Nodules start developing on the prostate over time. And we talked about the senescent cells. Remember we mentioned that? Rico mentioned that one day. There's what happens when we have a senescent cell. It's like a normal cell, a normal organ cell that ceases to function because of age. The DNA is kind of denatured or whatever, changes, and so that cell ceases to do its function, doesn't want to do its job anymore. And so it's called a senescent cell because it releases protein that goes to other parts of the body and encourages the development of those cells in other parts of the body. And so when those cells cease to do their function, they then start to mutate and become larger and sometimes cancerous. So the research says you can reverse the development of senescent cells by two things. What do you think those things are? Diet and exercise. Diet and exercise. So I would surmise, I have a question. You can ask me a question anytime. Here we go. Here you go.
All the things that you just mentioned,
Yes, sir?
I have that, except I don't have any signs of blood or anything in my urine. But I get up in the morning, like say 3 in the morning, and I have a hard time going back to sleep because I have to go to the bathroom. Have a little strain, little pain, little back pain and everything. My doctor told me that I have an enlarged prostate, but they give me some medication. Do you think I should continue taking them? I kind of stopped.
Absolutely. You should take it.
I should take.
Yes, you should. Have you had any other exams?
No.
Did he just take your blood? Did you do a digital exam?
Yeah,
Did you
my
do a
blood.
cystoscopy?
Yeah, just my blood and
Did you do a cystoscopy?
no, he didn't do that.
So he just took your blood.
Yeah.
And did your digital exam.
Yeah.
And you have all these other symptoms.
Yeah.
And that's all he did.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to what I said earlier before we started for African American men. Number one, we're very highly likely, much more likely than our counterparts to develop prostate cancer. We're twice as likely to develop serious complications, such as prostate cancer if you have BPH. If you have BPH, you're twice as likely to develop prostate cancer than your white counterparts. And we're less likely to because we're less likely to get attention, medical attention, we're less likely to be tested, we're less likely to be screened. Plus, what we talked about, most medical providers won't say this, but there's certainly a racial element to how we're treated as African Americans. We're not oftentimes given the optional procedures that are available or the latest technology. For example, Loma Linda developed what's called proton acceleration therapy for prostate cancer. They catch it early. Like I said the other day, they can extract protons from the hydrogen atom. They put them down to a bowl of Steve. They load them with radiation. They put you in a mold on a table, and they shoot that radiation, those protons, subatomic particles, into the cancer. They know exactly where it is. Subatomic particles don't damage cells like normal radiation. because they're so small. They go right through the cell, and the cell goes, hey, I don't know what happened. Good. They go right through the cell, these subatomic particles. They go into the cancer, and then they release their atomic radiation. It only kills the cancer cells. But you know, they probably pick who, because there was a new tool years ago. They probably pick who is a likely candidate for those procedures. And I'm telling you, I've been in healthcare for over 40 years. You know, African Americans need to advocate for themselves.
We really do.
We really need to advocate. And I can't tell you how many people I've advocated for, friends and family. So you, my friend, need to request additional intervention, what I would suggest to you, or additional testing, such as a cystoscopy, such as...
What is a cystoscopy?
A cystoscopy is where they put a camera in the penis. They go right through, and they're looking as they go up into the bladder, and they're looking at all the prostate and all that stuff. And it's kind of painful. No, brother, you need to, if the doctor wants you to do a test, you should do it. That nobody does. You think I did? I didn't want it, but it's one of those things you got to do. Okay, turn around, brother. Look this way. Look, you're talking to me. Don't be looking back there. Okay. Mike.
From 1 to 10, how painful is that?
It's a 20. No, it's only, I would say it's probably like a 5, 4. And it just kind of hurts in certain. It's more humiliating than anything. But you know, ask some of the ladies. Have you guys had a humiliating test? Amen. We need to man up, right?
Okay.
I mean, how many exams have you ladies had? Amen.
Okay.
And you guys are worried about a cystoscopy?
Can you give me something to kill the pain while that is being
Yes.
taken care of? Okay.
They try to give you something to kill the pain, but doesn't kill all the pain. And it's really more humiliating because you're kind of talking, oh, how's sports? Oh, did you see those Bulls play the other day? Okay. How they're handling you and washing you down, and then they're like, ah. But you know, like I said, women have gone through this thing so much. They have much. Your sister wants to say something. She's standing up. Can you get to the mic? So, you know, some of these things, if it means it's going to save your life, you should do it. You should do it. So, yeah, brother, you have any other symptoms, back pain, stuff like that? You know, you need, okay, could be. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with going a little further. Have you had urodynamic testing? You seen a urologist? You need to see a urologist. He's had blood work. He had a PSA, right? Where's your PSA? Okay. You need to go see a urologist. That's all I'm going to say. You need to see Victor? He needs to see a urologist. Okay. Sister.
Oh, I was going to say, one of the reasons I'm here, you see there's very few of us females here, and both of us are nurse practitioners, but this is personal. Both my brother and my father have prostate cancer. My father is blessed in that he's 88 years old, and his problem, they think be likely he'll die of the something else other than prostate cancer. But my brother is only 62 years old, and he's been treated. And I'm saying why this hit me. What you talking about, a cystogram or cystoscopy? That's a lot less painful than what he's gone through with radiation.
Oh, my goodness.
And all the things he's gone through. So I'm here to back him up. Whatever they tell you to do, you need to do the things they can do to better save your life and to save you from the more invasive things, the long term, that's going to affect you the rest of your life.
Thank you, sisters. That's a good segue, because the alternative, okay, they found out you have prostate cancer. You have to do treatment. They have to open up your urethra. So you can have a TURP, transurethral resection of the prostate. It's like a roto-rooter. Your pipes are clogged, and they got to clean the pipes. So they start in the penis, and they go all the way up in there, and they clean that little pathway. Next thing you know, you're wearing diapers. No offense. Some of us have to do that for a long, depends. You want me to stop and answer? Okay, I can't, okay, I'll stop just for you. Go ahead. I was trying to say something, that's okay. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, Willie. Did I lose your train of thought?
It's very important for us men, as he just said, that you need to advocate for yourself. everything that I can say about prostate cancer, I can say from experience. And they can also do a scan to look at your prostate, but that's non-invasive, and to be able to see the cancer as well. When I had it, I requested a scan. It took them 2 months, and me having to go back and insist before they did the scan. And even with that, I have not seen that scan today. I had a follow-up. I went in there to sit down with him. They couldn't pull the scan up. I took those pictures outside of the VA. They couldn't pull it up. I had 3 independent doctors. Nobody could pull those scans up, but yet the scans were there. Now, I had surgery. The reason I had the surgery because supposedly the cancer was a aggressive cancer first, but I had gone 18 months without the surgery. I wanted to fight it naturally, but they wouldn't cooperate with me. They did nothing to help me fight it naturally. And just having the screen was one part of that, so that I could see what's going on in my own body and make a decision. And that never happened. So if you don't advocate for yourself, nobody else will.
And it's an effort, because the healthcare system is about revenue generation. It's not about cooperating with someone that wants to seek a natural alternative to their care. And so the scans are very expensive. They don't typically get approved because there's so many other tests that you can do beforehand. So yeah, you can go and ask for a scan. They probably won't do it because those CTs are really expensive. So they'll advocate for other non-invasive, cheaper, less expensive tests and procedures before they'll go with something that's more expensive. Sister.
I just want to say that I'm going to piggyback off what you just said and what the gentleman before you said. If we, especially as Blacks, African American people, do not, just speak up for ourselves. I was reading somewhere, a lot of times when they do testing, a lot of times those testing really don't help us. So you really do have to stay on wherever you go, VA, your personal doctor, your private doctor, it does not matter. It's one thing I always tell my Tyrone, even though he's a doctor, you should know your body. You know your body better than the doctor.
That's right.
He's a doctor. He studied the body, but he has not studied your body.
Right.
So it's like you do really need to advocate for yourself. You really need to just keep up with what is happening. And if you have questions, because I'm like this, when I go to a doctor, and basically I do prefer a female doctor over a male doctor because she has the body that I have.
Right.
And it's like, if I don't connect with the person, that doctor the first time, I literally go find me someone else. Because if I walk in your office and if I have questions and you cannot answer my question or you act like it's not important,
Right.
any question I ask the doctor is important because I'm talking about me and my health.
Thank you.
So advocate for yourself, Black
Yes.
men, please.
Excellent point. And like she said, a good point. If you go to a doctor and you don't feel good about them, you're not connecting with them, you've heard things that are optional, they're not suggesting, or they're saying no, there's more than one doctor around. The problem with this area, though, is specialists are so hard to come by. They're so hard to come by. I mean, I saw a urologist. It took me maybe a month to get into the urologist. And he was booked. He just closed his practice, so there's like, some of them aren't even taking new patients. You guys don't remember Mary, first wife, right? She was losing her strength in her legs every day. I couldn't get in to see a neurologist. Every day, getting weaker and weaker. Every day, I couldn't get in to see. They told me to drive up to Swedish in the emergency room and have her admitted up there, and I had to do that. So it's tough enough to get health care in this area. But like you said, don't take any kind of care you're going to get advocate for yourself. You don't like where you are, what you're getting, go find another physician. And if you're having a tough time getting in to see the physician, then, you know, talk to some healthcare providers and, hey, is there anything I can do? Is there anything else? Talk to your doctor. How can you get me into the specialist? Because most specialists won't even see you unless you've seen a primary care doctor first. So taking care of your prostate issues with your primary care doc is not the way to go. You need to probably go see a urologist because they are replete with treatment techniques and testing and all the screenings and all that, so many things they can do. And that's what they've studied. They've studied the urinary tract system, and they're specialists at it. So, and the prostate gland is a part of that. Okay, go ahead, one more.
Well, I'm a veteran, and I don't really believe in the VA as far as, you know, treatment like that, because it is said that there's a lot of quack doctors in the VA, okay? The only way I deal with the VA is for the money, not for them dealing with my body. So when that man said he went to the VA and they didn't want to do the scan, that's what you get. I'm a multi-care guy, and I have confidence in the multi-care system. I want to ask you something before I give up the microphone. Do you think that prostate cancer is hereditary?
Absolutely. There's a hereditary element. That's what we said. If you have a brother that has prostate cancer, you have a really high likelihood of obtaining, you know, developing prostate cancer.
So you believe that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Hereditary is a factor in a lot of issues. You know, I was a vegan years ago. I was exercising regularly, working hard. Everyone in my family had high blood pressure. And I was just doing really well, playing ball on the noontime, you know, with all the guys in the community. I was working hard, you know. And I went and did a stress test, and they told me my blood pressure was like 140 over 110. I was like 42, 43 years old. So, you know, I couldn't dodge that bullet. I probably could if I really was focused and dedicated. But that was a hereditary bullet that doctor said you can't dodge. Every person in my family has high blood pressure. So is that hereditary? Absolutely. You have a hereditary tendency, yeah. I'm salt intolerant. If I put salt on anything, it's like my pressure goes that way up. Is that hereditary? Absolutely. I've seen people like, they're doing this with a salt shaker and their blood pressure's like, you know, 110 over 75. That's not fair, you know? But it is what it is. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are hereditary that we need to be careful of. Your dad had it. What's it? What's it you're talking about? Oh yeah, prostate cancer.
Yeah.
So you know.
He had it. He did the surgery somewhere in his 60s, just around about my age, but he survived it.
Survived it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the prevention, the screening is so important because if you don't, the procedures that they have to correct prostate cancer issues can be life-changing. They can be devastating. Some stuff you got to live with. So it's better to do the screening than it is to do the treatment. If you have to do the treatment, do it. Because you know, I sense, we talked about a distrust for the healthcare system. That's mainly why we don't go get screening. And I'm sensing that distrust. Yeah, we don't trust it, but it doesn't mean we stay away from it. Okay? You don't trust it, but that means you watch them. You want to know what are you going to do to me? How? Why? How many people have you done this to? You know, it's not about staying away when you don't trust. It's like, okay, I'm giving myself to you, but I'm going to be very careful, very cognizant of what you're doing, what you're suggesting, how you're treating me. You know what I'm saying? If you don't treat me well, I'm going to go I'm going to handle my business. So, men, get into the doctor, do your screening, listen to your physician. If he suggests a cystoscopy, go do it. Okay. Risk factors to be aware of. Diet. Now, these are things that are going to promote BPH, cancer development, that kind of thing, okay? Same things we talk about with the other diseases. A diet high consumption of red meat, dairy, and fried foods. Dairy is a big connection with dairy and prostate cancer. Big connection. Dairy, especially with prostate cancer. Dairy. Stay away from it. Easy for you guys to go home and just get rid of your dairy. Easy, you know, but that's up to you. Yes? Question? Hold up, brother.
Think it's safe to eat fish?
You know, I don't like those categorical questions. I think you just need to, you know, you need to look at your own personal journey. And if you're real super serious about what we talked about a plant-based diet.
That's considered red meat. That's not
but
considered red meat.
Again, some of the things we talked, one of the things that are on here, I talked about the senescent cells and the research that the Adventists didn't do this research. It's one of the Columbia University, one of the big universities. Senescent cells promote aging, they produce protein, and it helps you age faster, it kills other cells, etc. One of the things that reverses that is a plant-based diet and exercise. They didn't say a fish-based diet or a pescatarian and exercise. They said a plant-based diet and exercise. So you have to draw your own conclusion. I know that salmon tastes good, doesn't it? That salmon, that snapper, and all that. But we're going to, all the things, all these diseases we talk about, plant-based diet, exercise, all the other principles. So you have to make your decision. It's up to you. Real serious about it, you can do it. You can do it. Lifestyle, obesity, and physical inactivity will actually contribute to prostate cancer. Inactivity. Get out there and walk every day. Get up in the morning, go walking. Now, I'm going to lecture on exercise because I'm a big believer in it, even though I may not look like it. I try to suck my tummy in, but it does so much for you. And people need to know what is a good exercise program. Just walking is not good enough. If you're just strengthening, it's not good enough. If you're not stretching, doing yoga, then it's not good enough. So you have to, flexibility, strength, and endurance. Those are the things we got to work on when we talk about inactivity. Some people say that I work hard during the day, so I don't think I need to exercise. Oh, yes, you do. Working and exercise are two different things. Don't get in your head, I work hard, I don't need to go exercise. You do. Lifestyle, habits, smoking, and excessive alcohol consumption worsen outcomes. Definitely those habits are not going to help you with avoiding cancer, prostate cancer, deficiencies. Low levels of vitamin D and zinc impact prostate health. Zinc actually makes the prostate healthy. It's actually a mineral that's needed in the prostate. Yeah. Yes, zinc supplements. And it's in some foods too. So D and zinc, and we're going to talk about some supplements in a minute, but genetics, family history increase the risk, especially in the first degree relatives. So brother, not necessarily father, son. Brother is a higher risk element than father, son. The cruciferous vegetables. Tomatoes contain lycopene, broccoli, and cabbage provide sulforaphane compounds that support prostate health. The broccoli, the cauliflower, there's avocado up there, tomatoes, etc. Antioxidant-rich foods. Berries, green tea, nuts contain powerful antioxidants that help reduce inflammation and oxidative stress. Making sure your blood is alkaline. These vegetables and nuts and grain actually promote an alkaline environment in your body, and cancer doesn't like an alkaline environment. It thrives in an acidic environment. And meat consumption, dairy consumption, all that promotes an acidic environment in your body. So you're drinking water, get that alkaline water. Maybe they used to sell those alkaline water machines for thousands of dollars. Now you can go buy a bottle of alkaline water from the store for a couple bucks. So alkaline, that's your key. To develop an alkaline blood, cruciferous vegetables, plant-based diet, it will help reduce or increase the acidity or alkalinity of your blood. Seeds and nutrients, pumpkin seeds rich in zinc. There we go. Flax seeds offer omega-3 fatty acids that benefit prostate function. So omega-3 fatty acids. And a lot of times people talk about fish, okay? Fish. But flaxseed is another good source of omega-3. So you don't have to have fish. Lifestyle changes to improve your PSA. Here's a starting point. This is the case study. Michael was 60. He had a rising PSA levels. His doctor suggested lifestyle changes before further intervention. He adopted a mostly plant-based diet and began walking 30 minutes a day. This is a true story. 3 months mark, his energy improved, and preliminary tests showed positive changes. 6 months result, PSA levels dropped significantly. He felt more energized than he had in years. True story. This could be you. This could be you. You know, it's funny how, as well, that exercise and activity like that actually is not only going to help the prostate, but it gives you more energy. Your pains in your joints will go away. You know, the arthritic conditions will stabilize, maybe even improve. So when you go on a plant-based diet, you're going to feel so much better. So many changes will occur in your body that you'll feel just so much more energetic and alive. Plant-based foods. Make vegetables, fruits, and whole grains the foundation of your diet. Move on a regular basis. Even moderate exercise reduces inflammation and improves circulation. Did you know that 75% of your white blood cells are stagnant on the walls of your arteries? How can you fight infection when all those soldiers are sleeping? You know? The way to get them going is to get up and move. You're waking them up and get them moving. You know, when I was getting sick years ago, I felt myself getting sick, and I would go out and run. And it was like taking a Zicam, you know, or whatever those pills are that you know, before you get a cold or whatever. And it was amazing. My throat would get sore. Okay, I'm going to go run. I go out and run, come back. I'm feeling better because you're energizing those white blood cells that are stagnant, getting them in circulation. They're fighting the infection that's in your system. So movement is important. Sunshine exposure, vitamin D. Natural is better, but we don't live in Arizona. We live in a place where people get very depressed. So rain. So supplementation, I can't stress that enough. How many IUs of vitamin D do you take? Yeah, brother. Wrong answer. Victor, get him some vitamin D pills. First order of business. Vitamin D is really good for you. Really, really good to help fight diseases. Quality sleep. 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep for cellular repair. And then minimize processed foods. Reduce items, artificial ingredients, and added sugars. Definitely not a good thing. And you know, when you take a spoonful of sugar, actually motility of your white cells decreases about 25% with just a spoonful of sugar. Okay, break it down. White blood cells are the cells that eat bacteria, stuff like that in your system, right? I told you they're laying a little stagnant in your blood system when you're not doing much. When you get active, they move around. Those things, they have what's called motility is how they move, and they move over they sense there's an invasive or foreign object, and they go attack it and eat it. So the motility of those cells decreases significantly with just a spoonful of sugar. So processed sugar, processed foods aren't that great. They're designed to make us sick. Okay, another case study. John, age of 52, attended a church health program despite having no symptoms. His first PSA screening, test revealed elevated PSA levels requiring follow-up. Biopsy confirmation, early stage cancer was detected before spreading. Successful treatment, John recovered fully and now advocates for men's health. So, sounds like he was diagnosed via biopsy. He followed with the physician and treatment, but then he modified his lifestyle and he's doing very well. So it's never too late to get on a healthy plan that will help impact and fight, you know, the development of prostate cancer. And biopsy's not fun either. I'm down if you had a biopsy, but that's no fun. That's no fun. I'm not even going to describe it, so I'll just move on. Move on. Prostate, stop laughing. Prostate cancer, prostate screening guidelines. PSA blood test. PSA blood test. And measures prostate-specific antigen levels. So when those cells start to hypertrophy, there's a protein that's released, and the PSA measures that. Like I told you, my dad, your PSA should be somewhere 3, 4, 5. African-American men can be as high as 10. My dad's was, I told you, it was 25. He didn't have prostate cancer. PSA, my eyes just fell out of my sockets. But something to be aware of. PSA is just one thing. It's not the overall final diagnostic tool for prostate cancer. Lower the number, the better. But you can still have prostate cancer at a PSA of 8, 7. So don't just, like I said, it's not the only indicator. Digital rectal exam, that's something that should be done on a regular basis, especially African American men, because they can feel the prostate, if there's any lumps or bumps starting to grow. You do a comparative exam as well, do it every year. You go in, the doctor says, hey, it's getting bigger. Let's do your PSA. Your PSA is elevated. Oh, let's get into some other testing and see what's going on. If you have really serious nodules on your prostate, your frequency at night, painful urination, stop that. Then the symptoms are continuing to develop, and so now they were going to really get into what's going on with your prostate. They may do a scan, they may do a cystoscopy, they may do a biopsy if there's really bad lumps there, and beyond that, there's the treatment. You can, but that's a pretty big void. That's a pretty big void to not to have a prostate. I don't know of any man that's had surgery, they don't take the whole thing out. I mean, at that point, you've heard him removing the prostate? I've never heard him removing the prostate. You can live without it, yeah, but I don't know. There's going to be some serious lifestyle changes because of where it is. But starting age, 50 plus for the average risk, 45 for high risk. So if you're male probably, and an African-American male, probably 40, 45 is when you need to start screening. Like I said, screening is so important, you guys, so important. So ladies, if you have men that are important in your life, make sure they're getting screened, okay? Make sure they're getting screened. If there's issues around, what's going on, the frequency of urination, stop and starting, getting up at night on a regular basis, make sure they're getting it to the doctor to get the digital exam, and they need to be screened. You have to. And the question? Mike? Okay.
It's an anatomy question. Now, doesn't the urethra run through the prostate? Yes. Right through the center, not on the side of it, right? How could they take a prostate out if you have a urethra running through there?
They could take most of it out.
Okay,
But
not
your urethra
completely.
will still be somewhat intact. And oftentimes it gets enlarged. And so you have urinary incontinence as a result. Can't hold your urine because, it's proximity and what happens to the urethra.
Some medications,
You can't hear.
some medications like blood pressure medication that has that water component in that pill causes some of the symptoms he was talking about earlier. That's why they tell you to take it during the day.
Yeah, like hydrochlorothiazide is a diuretic, and it's going to cause it's going to pull out the water out of your bloodstream, and it's going to create a frequency of urination. But it's also a bladder irritant. Spicy foods, there's a lot of things. Your bladder will fill up, and it empties. And if you irritate the bladder, it's going to spasm, and the muscles are going to tighten up, and you're going to urinate a lot sooner. And, the bladder needs to relax. And these medications and spicy foods irritate the bladder. And when the bladder gets irritated, it doesn't want to fill up. It wants to empty. And so that's one reason you can have frequent urination. Because of the foods you eat or because of the medication you're taking. You're taking diuretics for blood pressure, you're going to be going to the bathroom all the time. When you get older, they say there's not a bathroom that I pass by when I'm traveling, and it's kind of a true thing because the prostate, benign prostatic hyperplasia, because prostate gets bigger, bladder gets smaller because it's taking up space. And I need to quit pretty soon. So, but the high blood pressure medication is another one. The diuretic is going to cause you to urinate on a regular basis. So don't think that you got prostate issues because you're going to the bathroom all the time. Look at the medication you're taking. Look at your diet. If you change your diet and exercise too, because a lot of men and women, you women, pelvic floor, and any of you ladies, don't answer the question. But men have pelvic floor issues too. We just don't admit it. We don't talk about it. And it's something we need to talk about as well, pelvic floor strength, weakness. Because that, if you just strengthen your pelvic floor, you increase your flexibility of the pelvic floor, you're going to have a lot less issues with frequency, urgency, that kind of thing, bladder filling. So that's a whole nother topic we can talk about, pelvic floor issues. And another question.
I use pretty much a good bit of cayenne pepper, black pepper and stuff. You think that could irritate the prostate area?
Use a lot of cayenne pepper and black pepper. Yeah, especially black pepper. Cayenne pepper is good for your heart. It dilates your blood vessels. It kind of drops your blood pressure. So cayenne pepper is good. Black pepper is an irritant. Cayenne pepper is not an irritant. So let's move on. I didn't say don't use black pepper. It's an irritant. It's an irritant. Black pepper is an irritant. Okay. Faith and community during treatment. I know we're over, you guys, so I'm going to bear with me to finish this up. I need to give some gifts away, so we're going to move on. Faith and community during treatment. Age and diagnosis. James, a pastor, faced prostate cancer in his mid-50s. This is another case study. Prayer partner. He had 24 prayer partners. His congregation formed support teams for prayer and practical help. 100% recovery rate. James found complete healing through medical care and faith. So this is important because, like you said, brother, you know, you're struggling maybe with your physician, getting advice from your doctor, etc. Why not develop a faith-based team that can pray with you, can help you out in terms of, you know, seeking appropriate medical help, can give you advice with you, etc. Because it works. Prayer works. But we need to be aware of our brothers and sisters in the church and partner with them, team up with them so that we can give them encouragement, we can put our resources together and find great solutions to the problems you're facing, or hear information that you may not have heard before. So I would encourage this idea of coming together as a group and helping to facilitate healing of your church family. That's important. And I need to move on because we're way over. Stress and prostate health connection. Chronic stress elevates cortisol and causes inflammation. Stress, believe it or not, sleep disturbance impairs cellular repair and recovery. Hormone disruption affects testosterone and other key hormones. And weakened immunity reduces the body's natural defense systems. So stress and prostate health, all those things can be impacted. And research-backed reversal strategies. So all these things can help improve your condition of your prostate, but when you combine them, they have a synergistic effect, and you have much better healing and recovery. And I'm not going to go over this other case study, but you get the idea. And God's blueprint for men's health. God wishes above all things that we prosper and be in good health. So if that's God's wish, then we just need to follow his direction and his guidance that he gives us, right? Because he's given us guidance. And if we don't follow his guidance, we're going to get what we get. But he wants us to be healthy. And he's given us a plan. We need to follow it. And with that, final thought, your body is a gift. Honor it, care, and attention. Health affects mission. Wellness enables you to fulfill your purpose. You know, God has a purpose for each and every one of us. And the adversary will figure out whatever he can do to get in the way of God's purpose for our lives, right? Prevention is power. Small daily choices, small things. Make a choice today of what you're going to do. Pick one of those principles and adopt it today. We're not asking you to go home and just raid your refrigerator and go buy $200 tennis shoes and jogging shorts and go run 10 miles. We're not, a little small principle every day. Prevention is power. Healing is possible. Your body has a remarkable restoration capacity. I forgot there's a time frame that your body is a whole new body. What's that time frame, sister? Where every cell is reproduced, where you get a whole new body. I think it's every 120 days. Anyway, it's a period of time, it's several months. But you have a whole new, all those cells have been reproduced. You have a whole new body, Steve. A whole new one. So if you give it the nutrients and all the things it needs, that whole new body can be better than it was 3 months ago. Let's keep that in mind. So with that, I'm going to take no questions because I know it's time to go. And they're not here. Okay. We have a raffle today. We have 2 gifts to give away. And the names will be drawn now. We're shaking the names, the hundreds of names we have, from the hundreds of people that are in the congregations you guys can't see. And here we go. Yes? 6 o'clock. Why do you guys think it's at 7? It's always at 6. 6. You need to fill out the registration. Well, what do we say? Advocate for yourself. And you brothers, we talked about teamwork and supporting each other. You guys need to remind this brother when he comes in, Willie, to go to the desk and fill out a card. Sunday's at 4, Tuesday's at 6. Now, we're not going to, I got an announcement. I think we're probably going to not do it Sunday because it's a holiday weekend and we want people to be here. I think it'd be better to postpone it and do it on Tuesday. Yeah. After the holiday. No Sunday. Everybody's in agreement with that? This Labor Day is Monday. I think it'd be better if we didn't do it. Don't worry about it. The first gift is going to Lori Hines. Is she here today? Come on down, Lori. Oh, Lori. That's my guest. Come and get your gift. Well, this one is for the the young man. Okay. And then the second name is Beth Mc.
She's out back. Okay.
Beth Mc. Come on, Beth. Give him a hand.
Amen.
Thank you for coming, both of you. Okay, I appreciate everybody being here today. Let's have a word of prayer, and we'll terminate this meeting tonight. But remember, the next meeting is an exciting topic. It's the mind-gut connection, how your gut affects your mental health. Believe it or not, your gut is a second brain. You know you have a brain down here? So how your gut health affects your mental health. And that's what Ramika is going to be speaking on Tuesday. So be here. Exciting topic. Let's have a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your blessings. We thank you for bringing us out today. We thank you for the principles that you've given us, principles of health and well-being. We pray, Lord, that you will send your Holy Spirit down upon us to give us strength to heed the advice that you've given us, Lord. It's so challenging sometimes, but it's only because we're human and we're weak. We need your Holy Spirit in our lives to give us strength, Lord, to make the right choices in our lives. Bless those who are here. Bless us with health. Encourage us, Lord, to support one another through our health journey. And I pray, Lord, you as the great physician will take care of any malady, any abnormality that we may be facing. But I know, Lord, you want us to follow you. You want us to obey your principles in your word. And that's all that you require, Lord, is obedience more than sacrifice. So bless us to this end, Lord. Keep us and watch over us this evening. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you. Oh, there is a meeting. If you are on the building committee, you need to stay by.